This video is sponsored by Normandy 1998, Ash, Christopher Mitchell, 212th Trooper, and Zenvik. Turning to face each other, Ash and May share a look, though it is not one laced with uncertainty as it was when May learned that she would be facing Katie. Quite the opposite, in fact, as both are excited to be battling each other, as who better to test them than a friend and rival who knows their strengths and weaknesses inside and out. Speaking up first, May promises that tomorrow she's going to prove to Ash how far she's come from that novice he met at Professor Birch's lab, while in turn the raven-haired boy agrees that it's going to be a great match for sure, vowing to go all out against her from the start, as a mark of the respect he has for her as a trainer, so he hopes she's ready to face him at his best. Unfortunately, not everyone is so confident, as standing between them, Max finds himself torn as to who he should root for, since May's his sister, but he's really come to admire Ash. Truthfully, he doesn't want either of them to lose, with Rolf laying a sympathetic hand on his leg as it can feel his emotional turmoil, while Norman chuckles that his son's thinking is too binary, since he can root for them both, and Carolyn adds that instead of worrying so much about winners and losers, he should cheer for them both to have fun and learn from the experience. That way they'll both be winners. Nodding, Brock and Tyson confirm that this is what they'll be doing, with this settling it for the glasses-clad boy, as he makes a fist and tells Ash and his sister to do their best. And this is exactly what they do, as when they meet on the rock battlefield the following afternoon, both Ash and May look as though they are raring to go, having spent the morning in private training while devising some last-minute strategies to give themselves the upper hand. Wanting to prove that he's not holding back, Ash decides to open with Pikachu, while May meets him with Zangoose, having a simple goal in mind for this first match, to counter Pikachu's speed with one of her own faster Pokemon, while using the tricks Pikachu taught Zangoose along the way to her advantage. However, this cuts two ways, as having spent a lot of time helping to train the cat ferret, Ash knows its personality well, namely its timid nature and aversion to danger, with him therefore starting off by having Pikachu rain down thunderbolts on the field to create an unpredictable lightning storm that will also prevent Zangoose from advancing for fear of being struck. From the scared look on the normal type's face, this is working, though looks can be deceiving, as on May's cry to rush in and zigzag to avoid the lightning, Zangoose drops to all fours like Pikachu taught it and charges, proving that while it may not be fearless, it has gained the bravery to confront its fear head-on. Even as an opponent, Ash cannot help but be impressed, but at the same time he is less than thrilled at the powerful crush claw it manages to get off, with this making Pikachu squeal as he is sent tumbling back, bringing an end to this thunderstorm. Wanting to press this advantage, May next has Zangoose use Quick Attack, though reminding everyone just who taught the normal type how to use its speed as a weapon. Pikachu employs his own version of the move to bounce out of harm's way and even slaps Zangoose with his tail on the way down, before darting off in the opposite direction. At once, Zangoose pursues without even needing to be told, its longer legs allowing it to catch up with the electric rodent, so that soon they are neck and neck as they race around the pitch, ramming into each other's sides and leaping over the rocks that stud the battlefield. Making use of his smaller size, Pikachu attempts to get under Zangoose and shock his underbelly for what will surely be a match-ending blow. Though seeing through this, May as her normal friend ward this off with a sideways crush claw that does manage to keep Pikachu from getting underfoot as he is forced to leap back, though does little to prevent the Thunderbolt from striking all the same. Understandably, this leaves the cat ferret rather frazzled, and so looking to create some distance between itself and its foe to recover, it turns its attention to a pillar of rock currently in their path. During the last few laps, it, just like Pikachu, leapt over this, though now Zangoose has another idea, waiting until Pikachu jumps before lashing out with its claw, crushing the stone and causing chunks of rock to spray up at the electric type like shrapnel. Having not expected this, Pikachu is struck hard by this improvised attack. Though being wily, Ash finds a way to turn it to his advantage, as by now Zangoose is pulled ahead, and the electric rodent can strike it from behind with Thunderbolt. Then, if that were not bad enough, he has Pikachu use Quick Attack to leap from rock shard to rock shard in order to remain airborne while closing in on the stunned Zangoose for a Quick Attack that should spell the end of the cat ferret Pokemon. At least, that is what he thinks until Pikachu dives. As showing off more of that resolve it and May have built together, the red and white normal type turns on a dime and grabs the mouse Pokemon out of the air, before choke slamming him into the ground and pummeling him with its claws. Knowing this could be the end if he doesn't do something, Ash's Pikachu retaliated with a point-blank thunder, since they need power more than accuracy in that moment, with the result being a pillar of yellow light that engulfs both combatants and kicks up a cloud of dust and stone obscuring everything. In unison, Ash and May both cry out worriedly for their Pokemon, though they receive no answer, with the reason becoming clear soon after, as when the pillar of light fades, Pikachu and Zangoose are revealed to be slumped across each other, both unconscious. A little shocked that the first round ended in a draw, Ash recalls his best buddy, while in his place choosing Claydol, and seeing this, May attempts to capitalize on its water weakness with Marill. To this end, the girl has her aquatic teammate open with Bubble Beam, and relishing the chance to assert dominance over something so large and ancient, the Demon Lord of Hoenn puts its all into the attack, with this managing to do some damage, as the Bubble Barrage comes quicker than Claydol was prepared for. However, sometimes slow and steady wins the race, as when Marill's assault is over, Claydol responds with Rapid Spin, tearing across the field like a tornado, and forcing Marill to desperately dive to avoid the spinning dervish each time it draws near. Every time this happens, the Aquamass Pokemon does fire off another set of super effective bubbles, though it is plain to see that it'll take a lot more than this to slow it down. A fact it makes clear a moment later is giving up on this cat and mouse game with the literal mouse. Claydol instead fires off a hyper beam that shows no sign of weakening, seeing a fearsome beam of light shoot down at Marill and leave a massive crater where it struck. Amidst the smoke and debris, it seems doubtful there is any hope of the little blue battler's survival. Though refusing to be underestimated, Marill pulls its soul from the hole a moment later, a sinister grin on its face. Now at last it can have some retribution, as Claydol is stuck in recharge mode. And seeing this, May tells it to use its signature Aqua Tail Morningstar for the win. Naturally, such a big foe will require a big mace, with Marill even firing off a bubble beam to create some supplemental water and hasten the creation of the Morningstar, so that sooner makes the car-sized one used against Brawly look piddly in comparison. Knowing they don't have long before Claydol recovers, May wastes no time in giving the command to attack, with Marill channeling all its strength to heft the huge Aqua Tail and swing at Claydol's head for a match-ending blow. However, no tale can end with the Demon Lord victorious, a truth May and Marill will learn the hard way, as at the last second before the spiked orb can land, Claydol's recharge ends, and unleashes its full psychic power to freeze the mace in place. Then, if that were not bad enough, it begins slowly forcing it back down to crush Marill, who cannot escape as it's literally attached to its tail. Unsurprisingly, this renders the water type unable to battle as its own huge power comes to bite it on the bum, while in its place May chooses Snorunt. This decision intrigues Ash, as last time these two faced off, May forfeited feeling she had no hope of victory, though when he expresses this surprise, the girl vows that this time will be different, as she and Snorunt have come a long way. Eager to put this claim to the test, Ash tells Claydol to wrap this up quickly with a rapid spin, though showing off its prankster streak, Snorunt avoids this with Double Team, making it impossible to tell which Snorunt should be targeted, and forcing Claydol to begin using Ice Beam to pan across the battlefield. As Ash had hoped, this makes short work of the fakes, so that soon all that is left is the real Snorunt, though refusing to go down without a fight, May has it countered with Icy Wind. Unfortunately, this is not enough to match the beam of Arctic energy, with the force sending Snorunt flying and crushing painfully to the ground with a soft whimper. Seeing this has left the Ice-type winded and close to unconsciousness, Ash then attempts to bring it home with another Ice Beam, but May clearly has other plans, crying for Snorunt to use Icy Wind and hang tough, since she knows it has what it takes to win. Buoyed by this encouragement, the Snow-eyed Pokemon screeches its name, while ice crystals and snowflakes burst forth in an attempt to hold off the blue beam. While at first this seems like a doomed endeavor, as Ice Beam cuts through the gust with ease, these particles slowly begin to condense, with the wind itself thickening until it is not so much a gale as it is a beam, blue and cold just like Claydol's. From the looks of things, no one is more surprised by this than Snorunt. Though making the most of its second wind, it rolls its Ice Beam to push back against Claydol's, and shockingly, this works. Whether because this is the power of an ice type in its element or because Claydol had been complacent is anyone's guess, though either way, the last thing the Claydol Pokemon sees before it is encased in ice is Snorunt beaming up at it. However, this smile will not be long lasting, as having learned from the battle with Marill, May does not mess around, having Snorunt immediately charge in and use Headbutt, with this being a wise decision, as when the little ice type collides with its larger foe, the frozen veneer shatters, sending the ground psychic type tumbling to the battlefield floor where it belongs. With this, the score is tied at 2 losses apiece, though it will not stay that way long, as when Ash brings Torkoal out and has it use Overheat, the Snow-eyed Pokemon is overwhelmed in one blow. Thanks to this defeat, the match is brought into intermission, allowing Ash and May a chance to return to their respective locker rooms and prepare for the back half, which will this time be on a grass field. Following this break, the two trainers return, each eager to give it their all, with May showing this by choosing her Combusken while Ash decides to stick with Torkoal, calling it back out. Choosing to take the initiative this time, Ash calls for Overheat, hoping the break will have reset its power, though unfortunately this is a vain hope, as when Combusken mirrors the move, the Firestarter's version easily breaks through Torkoal's, sending small flames everywhere, while the Tortoise is hit full force by the superpowered move. Due to being on a grass field, these small flames quickly catch, immolating the pitch and turning it into an Ash battlefield, though Ash the boy barely notices, as his focus is entirely on his Torkoal, having it hide in its shell for its own protection. However, this is just delaying the inevitable, as when Combusken closes in, it only takes a couple of double kicks to flip the cold Pokemon to its back, exposing its weaker underbelly and allowing the firefighting type to take it out. In response, Ash brings out Crawdont, figuring his trusty crustacean can handle Combusken, though it seems this match is not to be, as here May chooses to recall her starter and bring out Kecleon instead. At once, Ash's strategy shifts as he prepares for Kecleon to try a clever stealth attack, only to be proven wrong, as playing with his expectations, May has Kecleon do the most surprising thing and attack head-on, by lashing out with its tongue for a bind. Thinking fast, Ash's Crawdont catch it with Crunch, resulting in the tongue wrapping around Crawdont's pincer and tethering them to each other. Nonetheless, May does not change tack, having Kecleon close in and begin running around Crawdont to wrap it up with its tongue, while Crawdont attempts to stop it with bubble beams and crab hammers that sees the pair locked in an intricate dance as Kecleon ducks and weaves while Crawdont leaps and thrusts. To add to the beauty, water from the bubbles goes everywhere, creating a display that would not be out of place in the Grand Festival, though this is not what catches Ash's eye, as he spots something no one else has noticed, something that could change everything. However, to do that, Crawdont must first withstand what comes next, as with Ash's attention elsewhere, it has been caught up in Kecleon's tongue, and now stands helpless before it, or at least seemingly helpless, as when May prepares to give her next order, Ash countermands it, telling Crawdont to fire Bubble Beam from its mouth onto the ground and then tackle Kecleon onto the wet patch. Due to still being tethered, this is child's play, with the Red Ruffian crashing down atop its chameleon foe, whose skin begins to sizzle and smoke. From the looks of things, neither May nor the commentators know what is going on, though Max does, pointing to the other puddles where Bubble Beam hit the ground which are also smoking slightly, before explaining that Crawdont's water moves must have accidentally created lye, or to be more technical, sodium hydroxide, which is a highly alkaline combination of ash and water that can leave severe burns when exposed directly to skin. From the discomfort Kecleon is clearly feeling as it writhes in an unsuccessful attempt to escape, Max is right, and recognizing that a normal type will not be able to physically overpower Crawdont before it succumbs to its burns, May makes the pragmatic choice, and forfeits the round while recalling Kecleon and freeing Crawdont from its bindings. For her technically final Pokemon, the spunky daughter of Petalburg calls forth her Lairon, this being a wise decision, as its metal coating grants it immunity to the lye, meaning it can use Rollout freely. Not only that, but it is actually able to use the chemical substance to its advantage, actively rolling through the puddles to coat its armor in a faint layer of sodium hydroxide so that when it rams into Crawdont, it is for a taste of its own medicine. While at first this just leaves a nasty looking chemical burn on the water dark type's front, by the time Lairon has completed its pentalogy of rollout hits, Crawdont is no longer able to stand, falling forward while the smell of cured lobster fills the stadium. With this defeat, so disappears the ability to produce more lye, a fact May is immensely grateful for as she watches Ash bring out his Swellow, a bold choice if ever there was one, as this is a bad matchup for the normal flyer, since Lairon quad resists all its moves and a super effective rollout in its bag of tricks. In fact, the only saving grace of this decision is that with the battlefield having been leveled, Lairon cannot get up into the air to hit it, with May frowning that she wishes she could have had this matchup back in the first half, since then she could have used Claydore's Crater as a half pipe, while Ash chuckles that he was just thinking of the same strategy, causing the two friends to share a laugh at how much they've rubbed off on each other. All the same, Ash does not hold back, having Swellow use a series of wing attacks before rising back into the air, employing Tyson's patented hit and run with the goal of chipping away at Lairon, while in turn, May as the Steel Rock type use Mud Slap each time Swellow gets close, since while this doesn't do damage considering the bird's typing, if she can gunk up its wings, it'll be grounded, and then Lairon can just roll on top of it with Rollout. While a slow process, this does begin to work, with Swellow gradually struggling to fly as its wing feathers are not only more matted, but also stained with clumps of the lye still on Lairon's armor, causing small chemical burns to crop up anytime this connects with skin. As a result, it is not long at all before the Swellow Pokemon must come in for an emergency landing, though figuring that if it's going to crash it might as well get one last good hit in, Ash's Swellow use Aerial Ace, making use of its never miss quality to guarantee the hit, as it changes course and descends like a missile upon Lairon. However, this hit is more than the boy bargained for, as when Swellow's beak strikes the Steel Rock type's metallic armor, a massive fireball erupts in the center of the field. Once again it is Max who speaks, gasping that this must be because Lairon rolled over all the lye during its fight with Crawdont, since when exposed to certain metals, sodium hydroxide creates super flammable hydrogen gas, and from the looks of it, Swellow's attack created the spark it needed to go off. A moment later, the consequence of this explosion is shown, as a flaming Swellow is thrown all the way to the barrier by the force of the detonation, clearly unconscious, giving Lairon its second victory. However, it is not around to enjoy it long, as before Ash can even bring out his last teammate, the Iron Armor Pokemon stumbles back to May and collapses at her feet, with the girl beaming that she's incredibly proud of and grateful to it, since thanks to its hard-fought battles, they now have a good chance to win this. And so the final battle begins, Combusken vs Grovyle, with May attempting to wrap things up quickly with a flame charge, though demonstrating its speed and agility, Grovyle leaps out of the way of its flaming foe, before retaliating with a bullet seed that strikes Combusken in the side. Unfortunately, this doesn't stop the Firefowl, as making use of the speed boost provided by Flame Charge, it continues to pursue Grovyle even after the fires die down, allowing it to catch up with its fellow starter and double kick it across the now scorched field. Bolstered by this, Combusken races over to deliver the second kick of double kick, though this time Grovyle is ready, blocking the blow with Leaf Blade and pushing its foe back before coming in for a quick attack. That is until May reveals her own strategy, having wanted Grovyle to get in close so she can order an overheat at close range, with it seeming as though everything has fallen into place perfectly for the girl. In fact, May's victory seems all but assured, as Grovyle will hardly have a second to dodge, though showing his quick thinking, Ash's grass type changed the heading of quick attack, so instead of running headlong at Combusken, it is able to dart sideways and narrowly avoid the blow, before using the lingering momentum for a pound with the leaf on its head. Having not expected this counter-strike, the firefighting chicken lets out a squawk of indignation, though it does not stay off kilter for long, as the moment it and Grovyle break apart it begins rushing in front of the flame charge, while the wood gecko does the same with Leaf Blade, their arms outstretched to strike the other in the gut. Then, as their synchronized attacks bring them both to a screeching halt, they drive their foreheads into each other for a headbutt that sounds like the cracking of thunder. As this happens, white light blooms in the center of the field, with it bathing both Grovyle and Combusken, so that a moment later, they are replaced by Sceptile and Blaziken respectively, both of whom are eager to continue their fight. Emboldened by this twin evolution, Ash and May each attempt to redouble their attacks, using Leaf Blade and Double Kick for a flurry of blows, neither of which can break the other's guard, suggesting they are of roughly even strength as both Pokemon are forced to fall back while their trainers reconsider their strategy. However, this does not mean they are even in all regards, as when May's Blaze can go on the attack and fire its second overheat, Sceptile's Bullet Seed simply cannot compare, with the Grass Gecko being consumed in the blast and sent crashing back with several burns and scuffs on its green skin. Hoping to use this opening to secure a victory, May next has Blaziken rush in with another flame charge, only to discover that upon evolution it is transformed into Blaze Kick. Not that it matters, since as she will learn, the speed Sceptile has gained through evolution is a gap the firefighting type simply cannot bridge, even with Flame Charge's speed boosting capabilities, as it deftly dodges and then delivers a pound with its tail that catches Blaziken in the back and knocks it to its knees. Now it seems though the tables have turned back in Ash's favour, as he commands Sceptile to leap into the air and use Leaf Blade while spinning, to create a powerful cutting dive that will surely finish off the downed chicken. However, this is assuming that it can hit Blaziken, as when May cries out for her first Pokemon friend, it finds a second wind and leaps up too, jabbing Sceptile in the face with Peck and causing it to lose control of its attack. Touching down, the pair of Pokemon begin to pant visibly, the swift and brutal back and forth having taken a toll on both of them, with this becoming tangible a moment later as a red heat haze-like aura begins to rise from Blaziken, while a green aura resembling leaves dancing in the wind flows from Sceptile, signaling that Blaze and Overgrow have both activated. Figuring this means their Pokemon are on their last legs, Ash and May cry out in unison for Sceptile and Blaziken to get in close, with the former being instructed to put all it has into Leaf Blade, while the latter's call is for a Blaze Kick. As one, the pair of Pokemon run at each other, their leg and arm glowing brighter than ever thanks to their ability's power boost. Then, as they draw near, they each prepare to thrust out and attack. However, even the best laid plans require equally flawless execution, as in a mix of anxiety at what Ash may have up his sleeve, and excitement at the thought of actually beating him, May as the more inexperienced trainer tells Blaziken to strike a moment too soon. This gives Ash just enough time to warn Sceptile, so the forest Pokemon is able to duck under the kick, narrowly avoiding a knockout blow, before bursting upwards to ram its bladed forearm into Blaziken's chin for an uppercut that sends it spinning skywards. Urgently, May begs her starter to recover from this and try again, though it is already too late, as when the firefighting type lands on its back, it is with spirals for eyes, ending the battle, and with it May's run in the Evergrande Conference. Naturally, the girl is devastated by this turn of events, so that in spite of her best efforts to hold it together, she feels hot tears coursing down her cheeks. After all the hard work she and her Pokemon put in, they still lost. And worse, she lost in front of her friends and family. Speaking of, it is at that moment that she feels a hand on her shoulder, and looking up, she sees Ash smiling at her, as he states that she battled really well, and that he's proud of her, but more than that, she should be proud of herself. Wiping her face on her forearm, May questions if he really means that, and upon seeing his confident nod, May smiles softly too, stating as if to remind herself that of the hundreds of participants, she made it to the victory tournament on her first try, and not just the victory tournament, but its second round. Nodding reassuringly, Ash adds that she also managed to hold her own in 2 intense full battles against trainers far more experienced than herself, something he didn't manage until the Silver Conference. So while this may be the end of her league run, it's not the end of her journey, and she has the potential to go even further. Grateful for this sentiment, May promises to do just that, before wishing Ash luck in his upcoming battle, to which the boy grins that he's going to take what he learned from this match and go all the way. Giggling a little at this confident response, May tells him that he better, so she can at least say she lost to the champ. Then as he grins that she can count on it, they high-five. Like Ash, Brock, Max, Norman, Carolyn, and Tyson all have nothing but praise for May's performance, with Max even telling her that he really believes she could have beaten Ash if her timing on that last attack had been a little better. While slightly backhanded praise, the girl takes it with her thanks, while in turn telling everyone to cheer Ash on in his top 8 match tomorrow. As it turns out, this is against Tyson, with the pair being excited to face off for a place in the semis. For the most part, this battle goes similar to canon, except that Ash's Pokemon are overall stronger thanks to having had May's team as training partners throughout their Hoenn journey, with Pikachu in particular taking what he learned from his battle with Zangoose yesterday to outplay Meowth in the final battle, though when their two Thunderbolts clash, it is the electric rodent who comes out on top, so that Ash may move on to the final 4. Unfortunately, here the effects of refusing to rotate his team begin to show, as after so many battles back to back, they are too fatigued to fight at their best. As a result, while Ash is a better battler and strategist than his semi-finals opponent, he is defeated in the top 4. With this coming as a particular shock to the pundits, who had begun viewing him as the odds-on favourite to win it all. Nonetheless, Ash is not disheartened, as this is still his best league placement to date, and like he told May, he still has plenty of room to grow. Following this and the end of the Evergrande Conference, it is time for everyone to go their separate ways, as Ash and Brock intend to return to Kanto, while May and Max are joining their parents on a ferry bound for Petalburg City. However, before they part, the 4 friends take a moment to thank each other for all the adventures they had together that none of them will ever forget, before promising to meet again someday. For Ash and May, this promise also comes with another, that when that day comes, they will have a rematch, something both kids eagerly look forward to as they turn their backs on one another and begin heading home. And that's where we'll leave the story of what if May did the gym challenge. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I will see you as the journey continues.